Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here, and we are going to continue, hopefully, our conquest of North Africa, kicking the Italians out. And we are continuing something between an island hopping and an island conquering campaign out in the Pacific, but we need to go back and get ourselves reorganized. So, I'm going to see how that goes. Our battles here. Yes, you can have metal. Oh, okay, these guys are no longer defending, so what we're going to do is, yes, right along the coastal plain here. These guys can move into the hills and mountains. That with the broad front. They're all moving now. Good. Move forward. You guys keep moving forward. The other one. Problems for fuel. That shouldn't be a problem because so since we have a few people here, I would really like to hear either on YouTube or on Twitch what country do you think sabotaged the pipeline? Not that you gotta know. And there's I can think of multiple reasons for multiple viewpoints, but what do you guys think of who? Germany? You think Germany did it? Okay. That's interesting coming from you. You want to expand on why is fine. If you don't, that's fine too, but now, I've also sort of entertained the thought that it wasn't a state actor, national government, but that it was maybe a Greens of some sort using the war as a cover for hitting it. Can't see no other than Russia. Okay, beam slam. Don't know if anybody else wants to wade in. Even if you waded in before last episode, you could wade in again. We're going to send you all the way all the way back to, yeah, the U.S. and get prepared. Okay, there's plenty of space there. Let's see about getting, well, almost, but not quite. Let's send you guys up there. Many Germans think we should keep treaties with Russia and are against the sanctions. Yes, crash the pipeline, problem solved, everyone mad. Okay, okay. I can see that as a way of thinking. Especially if they think they can do it without, you know, fingers getting pointed back to them. That, like you say, everybody mad and not at them for their policies, but mad at Russia or whatever. Another Western power, but same reasoning. Yeah. Well, again, I'm not saying that this is conclusive proof, but Biden said he was going to do it. Now, you know, do you not trust Biden when he says something? He said he was going to shut the pipeline down if Russia invaded Ukraine. He didn't say he was going to, like, swim out there personally and blow it up. Didn't even say he was going to blow it up. He said he was going to shut it down. So, you know, I don't know. Oh, that's right. Sorry, let me go up here and scroll, but I wanted to get to, I think it was, who was it here? I want to give credit. Oh, IKB. Okay, okay. Sorry, IKB. I went too long and forgot. IKB asked me a very interesting question. The real interesting, well, he even says it, the real interesting question: who owns undersea cables and pipelines in international waters? Who would an attack on them count as an act of war against? Okay. Well, I am not an international lawyer or a lawyer of any type, but my reasoning would be, okay, one, some definitions, and this comes from America, but there's only one nation that counts when it comes to international law regarding the sea, and that nation is the United States. And if you want to ask me why only America counts, why not all nations are equal, or why America counts, well, it's because America has a lot of submarines and a lot of carriers. And they're very good carriers. And they're very good submarines. And in both cases, when it says it would go in case of invasion, I'm inclined to believe it. Right. Victoria Nuland, you're saying. Could be Russia as well. Yes, could be. Oh, there could be a lot of people. Like I say, it could be greenies that, because, they used to, ram ships with their boats. They would do things like that. So yeah, it could be all kinds of people. So United States, when it comes to international, or when it comes to the sea, the U.S. is the one nation that really counts. Any other nation, they can have a voice, but it's what the U.S. says goes. And so international law says that you have just a little bit out in the, I think, is it 12 or 24 miles? I forget right offhand. Again, I'm not a lawyer on the subject, but it's just a little bit of things. Territory outside here. And which is not enough to get both sides here. Whatever it is, I forget. So when it's in this kind of situation, their territorial waters mind you, come out just a little ways and must allow a channel wide enough for general shipping to come through. You do not get to claim, between Djibouti and Yemen here in modern day world, get to claim this enough that shuts down international traffic. So unless you're getting to an inland canal like here, you cannot shut it down. Eilat, right here, Eilat is also a little port city there. That is Israel's port city, and it's not much of a port like a cargo port. It's more of a luxury port for sailing boats and little fishing boats, and maybe there's big enough a ferry or two or something, but not much. Well, Saudi Arabia and Egypt cannot shut down Israel's access out to the sea through here. So there must be a channel navigable out here that, unless it's a time of war or something, Israel gets to come and go through their Red Sea port. You don't get to do that. That's what America says, so that's what it is. Now, what America does allow for is economic zones. So, and economic zones cannot interrupt or disrupt free navigation of the seas, whether by commercial shipping or, again, a private sailboat that's sailing around, the Mediterranean. But there are economic zones. Now, Turkey claims a bunch and, out into here, but why Turkey? I mean, literally almost to Egypt, but Turkey claims a hell of a lot. Where a lot of these other nations, they sort of, Cyprus, just because northern Cyprus is invaded and conquered by Turkey, and they set up a puppet government that nobody but Turkey recognizes. But what is in practice is, Cyprus's economic zone is something like this, and Israel's economic zone is something like this, out into here, and Egypt is, out to here, and Greece is, around through here. And these economic zones can definitely deal with the sea bottom, particularly what you would be bringing up is oil, but potentially other mining from the sea bottom, and fishing. So they can control. The idea is that a bunch of Egyptian factory ships shouldn't be allowed to come sit off just outside of territorial waters and just rape the seas here of Israel. Catch everything in the net, throw nothing back, and just, plunder. No, Israel gets to start to have an economic zone. Cyprus does, and that's for fishing. And so you do have exclusive economic zones, but that is not territorial waters. Okay, and so the new IKB's question was pipelines and undersea cables outside of territorial waters, because my understanding is the ruptures, and they believe because of seismic detection, so it's a fairly big explosion that popped the pipelines. So that also means it probably just wasn't some ship out there with an anchor dragging along the bottom and catching it and just oops, we caught it and we poked a hole in it. No, it was a bit more than something like that, as far as I could tell. And I'm not an expert, but it was just outside in international waters. Well, I would say that if we take American precedent here of this, that let's just say Israel wants to have a undersea cable to Sudan. Okay, so they want to, come out from Israel, go to Sudan. Port Sudan is right here. See, it even says Port Sudan. And so wants to do that. That Saudi Arabia and Egypt have to allow a navigable passage through the waters. They can't claim all of the Red Sea as their territory, so it's a navigable ocean. But this can be split up to their economic zones, because for oil drilling or fishing or whatever, and divided right down the middle here. I would say a out in once you that economic zones do not affect pipelines or cables. I would say a pipeline and a cable is equivalent to a ship. Without permission of a nation, you cannot lay a pipeline or a cable through someone's territorial waters. But again, there should be, if they want to say Israel to Somaliland wants to lay a cable out through here and just, basically lay it out in the channel down there and, boom. I mean, probably they wouldn't be doing a pipeline all the way through the Red Sea, but you never know. But a cable might be theoretically something they would do. Just lay that out there. So I would say that who owns, I don't know who owns Nord Stream pipeline. Maybe somebody could tell me. Obviously, I know that Russia puts natural gas into the pipeline, but I don't know that they own it, meaning that they're paying for it to be built, or they're the ones constructing either it on land and then taking it out and constructing it, meaning the segments on land, or whether they're the ones deploying it out into the ocean or the sea or whatever. It doesn't matter. That it sort of does matter to a little bit, but again, according to the United States, this is navigable sea waters. These different islands, they matter for territorial. This is the Dane, which is off here, I believe, is where it happened. But everybody still gets to move ships in and out. You can't blockade Lithuania from going between Finland and Sweden. So if Lithuania wanted to run a pipeline through the ocean to Norway, they can do so, but they just got to go through the channel, through the approved channels, and work out and not damage somebody else's pipeline. So I would say that it belongs to who builds it, not who touches it, because let's say if it's a German endeavor to connect Norway to Lithuania, they built it, they paid for it, it hooks up those two countries, but it's a German pipeline. Why they would be building it, I don't know. Now, unless they were commissioned, which normally means somebody else is paying for it, then just because they're the builder of it doesn't matter if they're commissioned by somebody else. So I would say either if somebody's commissioning it or who is, paying for it and building it is who owns it, even in international waters. And so if you cut a cable, that is equivalent of sinking a ship in international waters that would be, say, an automated ship, not like because there's also whole laws of the seas of an abandoned ship, that there's nobody on. You can just sort of go out and pick up and take. Well, let's say it's an automated ship that's out there that, flies a big flag and, is navigable. So it's under operation, under control. It's not an abandoned vessel, but nobody's on it. It would be equivalent of sinking one of them, or equivalent of shooting down a drone in international airspace. And airspace gets to be, the U.S. wanted to say that you could fly over countries, but that to some degree has been given up with their flights once they got satellites good enough. But we definitely, the United States, because again, we for a while with loss of the space shuttles couldn't get to space, but now we have Elon Musk, so we can get to space again. He's like almost daily putting rockets into space, if you guys don't realize it, or at least weekly. So you don't get to control the outside of the atmosphere, and I know like Iran shot down a U.S. drone over Iran, so that would be in Iranian airspace. But it would be the same if shooting down an American drone over, the Indian Ocean or something. I would say that would be estimated that several hundred kilos of explosive was used. In all likely, much less was necessary to make a hole in it if using directional charges. Absolutely, shaped charges. Some of the stuff pictures I seen look like pretty big pipes, but yeah, I think it's owned by the Russian state, but the incident was in economic zone of Sweden and Denmark. Yeah, in the economic zone, but not in territorial waters. So that is a point. But get back to IKB. I would say if it is if it is owned by Russia, then it would be an attack upon Russia, and Russia owns that. But I would say we know or have super strong evidence that Russia has killed a couple of undersea cables within the last year or two. The door, and we can research more things. What are we doing for leadership? Okay, good. Well, finally, we're taking down a lot of German subs. Do you really think, Beam Slam, they don't know who's responsible? Supposedly, the CIA, which I don't trust the CIA, but that doesn't mean that they're always lying or that that they're wrong or they're right. Supposedly warned Germany some time ago that the pipeline was under threat. I don't know the U.S. presence in the Baltic right now. But I do know the U.S. is capable, from my understanding how deep it is and what's going on, and like you talk about the size of explosives that were put down there, of monitoring and knowing just who's doing things. We are very capable at spotting underwater targets, submarines or underwater drones of a significant size. I'm not saying, some 6-foot, slow torpedo, if you will, covered in stealthy material, but that's not what we're talking about. And if there's divers going down, it doesn't have to be divers, but if there's divers, there needs to be a support ship or a support sub. And if the U.S. is monitoring it, we know who was there. Now, that doesn't mean that the U.S. was. There may have been no U.S. assets in this region. I just don't know. Oh, well, I don't know that the police will ever know, because I don't know that if the U.S. and saying that I know that the U.S. could monitor it, meaning maybe Germany should be able to monitor the thing if they cared enough to monitor it. But they may not want to tell the police, because if you tell the police, then like if we have video of them coming in and dropping the explosives and going away, then you've admitted to the world that you watched them blow up your pipeline instead of trying to stop them. Whoever it was. So if it was the Americans, the Germans might go, shit, there's American sub launching, a Virginia class. So at least some of the Virginia class, if not all of the Virginia class, has diver lockouts. in, like a flooding a section that you flood and divers swim out and then, underwater, do their thing underwater and get back in, and they pump the water out, so you don't have to go under the surface. The Virginia class has those. As standard, at least some of the, because there's several different batches of Virginia class. I don't know why they keep calling them Virginia, because they change so much, but whatever. And maybe all of them, but at least some of them do. And sometimes you'll see some of them with a hump on the back of them there that is carrying a submersible vehicle. They may have watched an American submarine come in, and maybe not like quite have cameras on it, but see, there's an American submarine there. There's divers. There's stuff moving around. Oh, a week later, boom. Oh, well, the only people we saw around there was an American submarine, and they might not want to tell the police. So they might not want to tell the police. So yeah, or if they saw Russians do it, they might see it and go, well, what are we going to do? Okay, so, well, do we want to shoot it? There's a Russian sub off there launching a mini sub that's carrying explosives. Well, where is it? Oh, it's in international waters. Are we going to shoot at a Russian submarine in international waters? And then when it goes boom, because depending on how they're watching it, may not like actually be camera, but meaning they track the sub and they know it's the Russian sub because it leaves Kaliningrad and it goes here and it goes to the spot and then it goes away and 2 days later it goes boom, so and nobody else has been in that area, so we know, unless it was planted 6 years ago and long timer or whatever, it was a Russian submarine that did it. Does the German government want to admit, well, we saw them plant the explosives and we could have stopped them, but it would have meant sinking a Russian submarine? And so when, say, 30,000 Germans are found frozen to death next January, now maybe they saved millions of Germans from a nuclear war, going off and nuclear missiles going off. But does the German government want to admit that they could have stopped it? Now, that doesn't mean that Russia wouldn't have turned off the spigot anyways, So the mere fact that the pipeline still there doesn't mean that the 30,000 dead because of freezing to death in the winter doesn't mean that that would have saved them, but they could have saved the pipeline at that section. They could have saved it, because the Russians could obviously bomb it somewhere else along the pipeline. But they may not want to admit that, in police court. So, yeah, I wonder if they ever find it. Yeah, what was the matter of the police? Okay, probably need to get shrapnel to examine the metal. Yeah, I know. But yeah. But if it's a lot of, Semtex or whatever the modern equivalent of, there may not be much fragments to sort of even hardly look at. And I don't know how much explosive residue they'll leave. And it may be generic enough. Cast pilot training advance. Good. And light escort. It's probably moved to 45. There's a lot of things they don't tell us for reasons. Good or bad reasons we would agree with or not, or not saying that there aren't good reasons not to tell people things. And maybe the reason they don't want to tell anybody is they don't want Russia to know that we could watch them do it. I mean, that's obviously, you know, a very important reason. If whether it's America or Germany or whoever can watch the seabed well enough to know this, maybe they don't want to let the Russians know this, or the Chinese, or whoever. So they're just going to keep silent because it's important to do so. Okay, they're coming for our beaches here. We've got just one division. Not going to be enough to hold, but we've got this. Okay, you fly back to San Diego. Reasonably good groups. And you fly back to San Diego. Okay, you out to the carrier. Hopefully they'll be able to yeah. Get there in time, but let's go. Wait now, so they get to come here too. Leave the Oklahoma out of this. You go back to, well, just send you straight back to home. You don't need that one battleship. Comes down this way. But if there isn't a consensus on people on who's responsible for the twin towers of the World Trade Center coming down, I've heard a lot of, at least I think, nutty views on that seem to be, a lot of people seem to hold the views, if they can't quite agree upon that after seeing airplanes crash into it. I think the mystery of who sunk the ships will be, or who sunk the ships. I'm looking at these ships. Who blew up the pipeline will be a long ongoing thing. Okay, you come to here. But what we're going to do here is, I don't know how big this is, but we're going to send this group here. Oh, nope, can't quite do it. So, okay. Oh, it's only down to one. And both there. So, Halsey, you go first. You're slightly slower. Get about halfway there. And the carriers come in. Single engine airframe research. Good. Grayed out. Twin engine fighter, because we're getting closer and closer to. Idea is to get in here. Oh wow. Okay. Oh, pause. Not you. You guys keep, yeah, okay, good. You keep coming in here. The Akagi, the Hira, the Taiho. The Yamato sunk. Excellent news. Okay, Special Forces, Combined Arms, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, stop that. And small fuel tanks, yes, okay. Big battle still going on. Pennsylvania lost, damn. Let's see what's going on out here. Okay, you guys. Moving, you guys keep moving. Okay, back to the Pacific. Islands. Uh-oh, we've lost a few more. We've lost a carrier. Battleship Division Halsey is just gone. Oh, and research, oh boy. Well, we might not need so many. Battleship Division is here. I've got a lot more ships than we do, but they're also not necessarily, there are a lot of transports and stuff like that. Do we have any carriers left? Yes, we do. Okay. Here we have Gregory Boyington. Maybe he'll survive this time. Rebase the carrier. Out here because carriers may not exist by the time. Full-born mixed support, well, nice. Is oh no, yeah, everyone, yeah. Nope, you. Some CAG duty. Okay, let's see if we get some more. Oh, we sent some up to rebuild here. Ooh, good, good. One more out, or one more group out there. We have lost the land battle there. They've successfully invaded with a lot of troops. Okay, pause. Musashi sunk. Okay, big battleship went down. Veteran Air Force. Well, now we lost some in air battles that may not be showing up here, but we've lost the Wichita, the Thornton, the San Juan, the Lexington, the Nashville, the Palmer. Now they've lost a Musashi super battleship. Okay, well, guys, you go back to Honolulu. Well, we just lost a huge chunk of the American Navy. Unlike the last time, at least this time we took a lot with us. Let's build 2 battleships. The carriers don't seem to do well on their own. Well, move you to the bottom. Move you guys to the bottom to be able to get these guys in production now. Yeah, we've lost a lot, guys. And some of those were old battleships, the Arizona type kind of class, but still. That was a hell of a loss. Either we shouldn't have engaged because it was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, or we should have made sure that we got this battleship group in along with the others. We could have had air operations from the shore that would have been helpful, both fighters and bombers. Could have done a lot better, but man, that was costly. Well, I think on that note, we'll end this episode here. I want to thank you all, but particularly I want to thank Tim, Strongarm, Niagro, Timothy, and Sir Toyjet for support over on Patreon. But really what I'm asking everyone to do, if you would, smash that like button. And, you know, if you're watching on YouTube or whatever, make a comment. It really helps with the algorithm, and I'll probably answer it. Even just say hi. I really do appreciate that. That's what I really want to see here is channel growth, and comments and hitting like button really helps. So thank you so much. See you next time for more, yes, more Hearts of Iron.